to another episode of the Weigh In podcast. I'm joined by my guy Sugar Ray. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right, thank you, man. It's been a while, gone to the mountains a bit, I've returned, so yeah, I'm good. How you doing, Bradford boy?
I'm good, man. I'm a bit sleep deprived, but that's natural. That's just natural. But yeah, obviously we're here because obviously we had a big fight just a few hours ago, Pacquiao Ugas. But before we even get into that, we do need a little bit of support from you guys. So if you are enjoying the content, just follow us on all our socials. You can see them down here. But if you want to know, it's _ the Weigh In _ on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe obviously to the YouTube channel, which is the Weigh In. We've got a lot more content coming up. Obviously now COVID, a bit more relaxed, a lot more fights are coming in play. So let's go straight into it. Pacquiao versus Ugas. Pacquiao went in as the favorite. Obviously this fight was meant to be Errol Spence versus Pacquiao initially. Got changed last minute with about 2 weeks of prep. Pacquiao loser, unanimous decision. Just talk to me about the fight in general, and then we'll talk into what happens with Pacquiao going forward. What did you think of the fight? Did it unfold how you expected it to go, or?
I'll be honest, I didn't know too much about Ugas. All I know is that he had the Cuban style that he fights with, which is very conservative and efficient style. And I feel like in that fight, he showed a more refined version of what we saw between Casemiro and Rigondeaux, in that he used his jab a lot. He was very good fundamentally with the basics. And I feel what showed in that fight was Pacquiao's age, in that the blitz that he normally does, he normally lands about 2 or 3 out of like 4 or 5 punches. These times he might land on the 3rd or 4th punch, but then by then, Ugas would just come back, bam, counter, jab. Sometimes just a simple jab counter, sometimes it's a 1-2. He was not too spectacular offensively, but when he does hit you, he makes sure that it's very clean. He touches you up, pat, pat, pat. It's not always the most offensively exciting style to see, but man, when it comes to efficiency and landing, I saw his stats as well, and it was just crazy. Like, he threw less punches than Pacquiao in general, but the percentage of punches landed was also so much higher than what Pacquiao landed. So you got to give it to him, man. He's really refined that Cuban style, and then he made a way to win against an all-time great.
I think you kind of nailed it there when it came to the jab, because it was always that double jab. And like you said about Pacquiao, he was always boxing in spurts. So you would get the 3-4 and back. But I think the 3-4 that he was going when it came to it, it was tiring him out. You didn't have that zip that you're used to. Obviously, that comes with age. I think the one thing I was kind of surprised at, because I'm with you, when it comes to the welterweight division, you have marquee names. Even though Ugas was a champion, you didn't see him as that, if that made sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the right hand was the bit that surprised me a bit. Like, that was connecting. You loaded up with the jab, then go with the overhand right. And I just felt like throughout the fight, that slowly paid into a part of Pacquiao just not being able to adapt. And that age factor as well. For me, that was just a huge thing. And also being the smaller fighter that Pacquiao was. He couldn't reach him at all.
Yeah, for sure. I realized Ugas is a very big welterweight. I saw the difference in size. Obviously, Pacquiao is the infamous. He's a famous pound for pound fighter, but the size difference really showed in that Ugas fight. You can tell that he really cuts a bit of weight to make it there. And I guess for Pacquiao, it's just, sometimes we marvel at the fact that how many weight classes he's gone up, but then you start to realize in fights like that, he does go up in weight class, so he's not always going to have the biggest size advantage. And I'll be honest with you, I'm thankful he didn't fight Errol Spence, because I think it would have been way worse if he fought Errol Spence, especially with the power and output that Spence has. I think it could have been way worse for him. So it was a bittersweet end. Obviously, I'm sure Pacquiao would have liked to have gone out and fought a bigger name, even if he was going to lose. But you can't take away from Ugas and his moment. You know, the lights were on him and he stepped up. So now what's upsetting to me is that I think the person that should be pushing for Ugas next isn't under the PBC brand, and that is Terence Crawford. But we can get onto that later on. We'll stick to Ugas and the first Pacquiao for now.
Yeah, so let's just stick on Pacquiao for now. Then we'll talk at Ugas' next one. we've obviously you said about you touched on him going out. Is this time for Pacquiao to retire? And the reason I say this is a lot of people laughed at Floyd Mayweather when he went. His final fight was Andre Berto, and if you look at a casual, they won't remember Berto. They remember Pacquiao, then they remember McGregor. But I think for me, the way Mayweather went out was smart. He never had any damage. He wasn't like Bernard Hopkins where he went out at 51, going through the middle of the ring.
That hurt to watch.
Has Pacquiao finally got the realization that now you move forward, going in your political career, being obviously he's a senator in the Philippines, or do you think he's going to go in a bit of that Bernard Hopkins route where he uses his brand name as Pacquiao to try and get another big fight, or should he just call it a day now?
I think this is going to be a bit controversial. I don't know, more of a hot take than controversial. This is the perfect time to make the McGregor fight now. I think this is the perfect, with McGregor coming off the injury, he's not really winning too many matches in MMA, but his brand is still strong. So I feel like, especially with the way that he lost as well, he can get away with saying he never got finished, even though Poirier looked like it was going to finish him regardless. But I think now might be the best time for Pacquiao to do the McGregor fight. I know this was even meant to be the McGregor fight if he had won against Poirier in the first place. So I think, now is a case of if they can set that fight up, they should. But I also know that they went through a few legal issues because McGregor's management tried to sue Pacquiao because I think initially it was meant to be McGregor first Mayweather, McGregor first Pacquiao, and then Pacquiao then went on to face Spence, and then I believe Paradigm Sports Management then wanted to sue Pacquiao because they thought that this match should have not gone through considering the agreement that they had. So if Pacquiao can't get this McGregor fight just as a nice farewell, then maybe just a gimme fight. Give him a gimme fight in the Philippines just to do a nice farewell. And as long as he can stick to it and just say, listen, this is it, because what the match yesterday showed, and I think was good, it was kind of like a merciful killing in that you didn't go up against the biggest of killers in your division, but with Ugas beating him, it was kind of like that realization of, crap, I'm not at the top no more as I thought I could be. Obviously, he had a fantastic win against Furman, but he didn't take as much damage against a guy like Ugas who doesn't focus on power punches and trying to knock you out. This is a guy that's efficiency. He's just trying to pat, and then get out of there. So maybe that was the best thing. But let us know in the comments, people, should Pac-Man call it a day or not? But what's your opinion on it, Ugas?
Do you know what? I'm kind of with you. If you want the money, you take the McGregor fight. Like you pay for it because it makes sense. I think now we've seen there's a lot of crossing over between MMA and boxing and become a norm. The only thing I'd say is, and I can't remember Pacquiao's personal quotes, if he's personally said something against Mayweather doing something similar, or Mayweather having a gimme fight against Alberto before retirement, now you go ahead and do the exact same. It looks bad on you because I think Pacquiao, to a lot of fans, is a boxing purist in some ways, and the nice guy in boxing and the good guy in boxing that will always push himself to do that little bit more. So then him now going to take a final money fight kind of just sways completely against that. So that's the only thing I'd say. But other than that, I'm with you. You take a McGregor fight because you make that final payday. I just don't know personally how he does it because with his political career and what that seems to be pushing, it seems like it takes a lot of time out. So for him to put himself into any form of shape comes a lot more harder. And then obviously we've got the other side of things where nobody really expected Floyd to lose. But if Manny Pacquiao did somehow go into a boxing ring and somehow lose to Conor McGregor, respectfully, the professional boxing career he has, that just decreases by a long shot.
It'll be a big smudge on his record for sure. Even if he's old, it'll be the thing of you're not meant to lose to the MMA guy, let alone the MMA guy that's on the decline as well. So I would prefer if I think with Pacquiao it's kind of anticlimactic. Like I said, I honestly think that he would have even preferred, even if he got slept by Errol Spence, it would have been like, do you know what? I went out on my shield against the creme de la creme. Whereas, like I said, with Ugas, it's kind of an anticlimax of, yeah, he was the champion, but he wasn't the big name that I wanted to go out against. Like, this isn't a big name that I'm supposed to lose against, dude. So, but sometimes that's just life. Not everyone's going to get the fairy tale ending that the likes of, Lennox Lewis had and such. So, hopefully, Pacquiao's at peace with himself, with his career, and can walk away. Like you said, he's got a thriving career in politics in the Philippines. He can do much more for his people, and especially at his age, it would be nice to see him walk away. We've seen a lot of boxers stay around for a bit too long. You take up damage, and then also you're in like that whole 1 foot in, 1 foot out attitude isn't what you need to be facing people that's in there with both feet. Someone like Spence is like his concentration is on boxing, whereas Pacquiao, you don't want to be continuing your career 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It's kind of like when Marvin Hagler used to talk about, boxers getting up in silk sheets. Not only are you getting up in silk sheets, you're getting up in silk sheets as a politician. So it's already hard. Yeah, it's already hard doing it when you're comfortable, but doing it when you're comfortable and you've got a lot of, your mindset on your future career. I would really like if Pacquiao either one retired now or two took an easier fight, and that was just the farewell. I understand that for a lot of fighters, the whole thrill of fighting can be a drug, the whole attention and everything. But at some point, you have to realize, listen, there's a point of no return when you take too much damage, and I hope that Pacquiao doesn't choose that road.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, you don't want him to go out because he's like one of them fighters you actually did properly grow up watching. But
yeah,
let's just switch on. We've mentioned one guy continuously through this, and that's Errol Spence. He's meant to fight Pacquiao. Now you've heard you guys have said, I want Spence next. Spence said he wanted the winner. Now, obviously, the super fight here in welterweight is obviously Spence Crawford, but I'm on that wave that I don't think we're really going to get it. So if this fight happens, which I think probably will do, are we just again in the same boat that we just expect Spence to win, or are we expecting you guys based on what we've seen him now having a pay-per-view fight, beating Manny Pacquiao, having, I guess, clout as they call it?
Yeah.
Can he possibly give an upset, or is it just a case of he's just fought a brand name in Pacquiao and he's going to lose to Spence quite comfortably?
I don't know if he'll comfortably lose to Spence, but I think Spence has a lot in his locker to beat Ugas. I think Ugas showed that he's an efficient fighter. He's a guy that's not going to take too many risks. Defensively, he's very sound, and offensively, he's very basic but clinical with the jab, the 1-2, and the straight right hand. He threw a lot of body shots as well. Some of them were considered low blow. I didn't think they were, but that's his shot selection.
Even early on, and I was like, that's not low. And, I just think, do you know when I see that and respect to Manny, I just think, is he just trying to get a very quick early break in the fight or something like that? But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see because for me, I think Spence should beat him. I think it'll be a challenging fight though. But I also feel like it's annoying because Crawford is getting up in age. And for me, this would have been a perfect fight for Crawford to face Pacquiao, actually. I think that would have been more suitable only because Crawford's a bit up in age. Pacquiao also had the past with Top Rank and Bob Arum as well. But I know of late, I don't know, Bob Arum's just been on a tirade against all of his top fighters, whether it's Crawford, whether it's Teofimo Lopez. The guy's been shunning his top guys, saying, oh, I can't make money off of this, can't make money off of that. So I'm just looking at it as a thing of, then stop promoting then. Because you're obviously, if you keep on saying your top guys aren't making you money, then I don't know how you're going to get money from your other people. So it's a shame because obviously Crawford's been caught up in all this legislation contract wise, I believe that his contract runs out very soon, and they want one more fight out of Crawford, and Crawford does want to take the fight just to keep busy. But once again, he's in a weird position now where it's diminishing his legacy because all the top welterweights are at PBC, and PBC pay their guys well, thankfully, but they don't like to play ball with Aaron because of, they've got a long history of Aaron doing dodgy games, and it's been, I think, even sorry, what's his name just escapes me. Sean Porter even said like the offer that they gave him to fight Crawford was distasteful. It's just like, you're not compensating me right to have a big fight like that. So it'll be interesting to see. I feel like Crawford should be trying to push for that Ugas fight, just because as well, if Spence manages to get that third belt, then it can't be a 50-50 split when they try and make that fight that Crawford badly wants. You can't make a 50-50 split if the other guy's got 3 belts and you only got the one. So if I'm Crawford, I'm just campaigning quickly to fight out his top rank contract. I think he's got one more fight, or by a certain date he can leave. So if I'm Crawford, I know it's out of his character to start calling people out, but start getting onto Ugas. Just start getting onto Ugas. Try bait him out and just say, I'm the real guy to beat, so that he can get that WBA belt.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat because with this, I can't see Crawford. I think I've always been not a Crawford hater, but I've always been the guy that said Crawford's good, but I looked at his resume and I'm like, there's better people, there's better better resumes. So again, what we need from you guys as well is, obviously we've asked about Manny Pacquiao. Should he retire? Now we want to know from you guys. Is it Ugas versus Spence? Is it Ugas versus Crawford? Again, drop your comments, obviously, on our socials. Go on, follow them as well. All good stuff. _the Wayne _ Twitter and Instagram. When we drop this video, we want lots of comments. We want to know your reactions to the fight. We also want to know about who you guys are having for the next big welterweight fights, and also watch out for a lot of new interviews that we do have coming up. I'm going to say this right now. I don't see Spence Crawford ever happening. I don't personally think it can work with promotions. And I also think financially the splits, like you mentioned, I think Spence will get 3 belts. I don't think that's going to be a problem as well. Just like how we have right now Joshua Fury when it comes to money. I personally think it's the same way, because both believe they deserve more money.
Listen, the listeners already know my view on Tyson Fury and AJ. At this point, it is cheeky if Tyson Fury goes, he still wants 50-50, because he shouldn't have had it 50-50 in the beginning. AJ has repeatedly sold out stadiums. No one, he shouldn't be going 50-50 with no one. AJ the brand is bigger than all the other heavyweights. AJ the brand is what all these other heavyweights try to build off their matches off of, and then they cancel it because it doesn't. Let's not go into that. We'll keep on the welterweights today. But yeah, listen, man, boxing politics, it can get tricky. Hopefully Crawford gets out of his contract with Top Rank, and hopefully, if the need be, he goes to PBC. A lot of their guys get paid nicely, so hopefully that means Crawford also gets paid nicely. And maybe, even though it might be a bit over the time that we wanted it, we might get that Spence Crawford fight in the next 2 years, hopefully. So
whilst we've got a fight we could potentially have, we've got a fight that's now fully confirmed.
Ooh.
A fight that was actually meant to happen, but then obviously we have contractual issues and stuff, and that's Canelo versus Caleb Plant, 6th of November, undisputed super middleweight fight. Just quickly, I know it's super early. The fight's recently been re-announced. 2 things. One, are you with me when I'm just pro Canelo all the way and he just can't lose? And 2, do you believe that we could again have stumbling blocks leading up to the fight where we may not get this fight again?
Listen, when we're talking about the super middleweight division, Canelo is Thanos and will get all the rings, aka all the belts. it's Canelo's for the taking. And I like Plant. I really do like Plant, but the run Canelo's on now, the form Canelo's in now, just not just physically but mentally, just seems so sharp and at his peak. I feel like this will be a greater fight than more people give it credit for, because I think some people think Canelo is just going to run in there and buzzsaw through Plant. I feel that Plant will hold his own in that. Even might still get finished, but I still think that Plant will hold his own or rise up to the occasion. And this might just be the fight that people thought Billy Joe was going to have with Canelo. You know, when people thought Billy Joe is going to go in there, be tricky with Canelo and such, and then it just ended up being a Canelo blowout. I think this might be the fight where Canelo's just going to go in there and it'll be a trickier fight. And I think Caleb Plant will step up to the plate. So hopefully that's what we get. And then the second question remind me again, please.
Do you think, like, we had stumbling blocks in the first time with the fight? Do you think it could probably, like, again, possibly have similar problems, or are we now okay with it?
Lord willing, this should have no stumbling blocks going forward. But I think it's also, thankfully for Canelo, where he's in his career, he's a free agent every single fight, basically. So even though he likes being with the zone, he's got that freedom of saying, cool, I can do a one-off with this network here and this network there, because I'm at the end of the day, he's Canelo, I am the cash cow. So I'm sure for Caleb Plant, you're going to tell PBC, do not drop the ball with this fight with Canelo, because there's no way you're getting paid more than this right now. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Canelo Plant will be a big event. I'm sure that they wanted it to be during Cinco de Mayo, but you don't always get what you want in life. But sometimes you just have to work with what you got. That's what Canelo's done here. And hopefully end of the year, we get to see history be made. So whether it's a Plant upset or whether it's Canelo becoming the first Mexican undisputed in the 4-belt era, I'm looking forward to it.
So let's just quickly get this, though. We know boxing ring walks are a big thing. Canelo, if we're going to do this right now, who do you think is going to, like, come in with him? What type of tunes do you think we're going to get and everything like that?
I know that Canelo likes to have his big Latin stars come in and do his entrances for him. Obviously, there's the Bad Bunnies out there, the Anuel. I hope I said his name correct. There's the J Balvin. There's the J Balvins, who also done a nice feature with Skepta the other day. I like that. Shout out Skeppy. So it'll be interesting. I know that Canelo is a true showman. It'll be interesting though, because when he does those big entrances, it was with the zone. So we'll be interested to see, does PBC have the budget to, when it comes to production, give Canelo what he wants to make it a big show. I know Andrew, he's suggested that he wants the locks to come in. So some Jadakiss, but I think maybe Caleb Plant will be doing that instead of Canelo. But you never know. Canelo might just be a Locks fan. Who knows? You never know.
Do you know, like, we're talking about music? You know, like you said, Bad Bunny, he's got a song that's literally about Booker T.
So, yeah. I remember that.
Now it just makes sense, like, Anuel, Bad Bunny, just come make a song about Canelo, and then you're good. Like, everybody's gonna.
They might listen. That might be in the work. That might be in the work, especially for a fight like this to become undisputed. Imagine making a hit. Imagine one of those artists making a hit about Canelo, and then Canelo then going on to make history. What a time!
Now, if that happens, though, surely, like, we should get a little bit of the cut for coming up with the idea, because I don't think anybody else has done that yet.
Listen, of course. Listen, I will send this video to Canelo personally. I'll find a way to send this video to Canelo personally, and I'll say, "Listen, Canelo, we know you got the idea from us. We just want to be at the splits
a little bit. We'll get us tickets. We're like COVID free and everything.
Listen, send us out to watch the fight, Canelo, man. Listen, the weigh-in team, Canelo, is asking you to have your UK broadcast a special guest. Stay weighed in, Canelo, man. Come on, bring us out."
So on that, come on, Canelo, we're just little plugs here or there, but we're going to wrap up. Obviously, Sugar, I appreciate you coming on again, guys.
Love as always.
what we always want you to do is obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Waiting YouTube channel, the podcast. Obviously, it comes out. Just have a listen, share, like, share, and subscribe. Comment, definitely comment.
Indeed.
We want to
Interaction as always.
It's so important. And then obviously we want you to follow all the Instagram and Twitter social handles, which are both the same _ the Wayne _. But yeah, until next time, I'll speak to you soon. Obviously, there's so much more things happening. My boy Jake Paul's fighting soon as well. So obviously we've got to touch on
Indeed.
See you soon, bro.
Stay waiting, people.
Stay waiting.